Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wake up call. How's everyone feeling out of 10? Uh-oh.
Oh, hey, there we go. All right, cool. All right, that was interesting. That never happened before, but out of 10, man, okay, how about 0 out of 10? And that's a ceremonial 0 for how terrible yesterday was. Oh,
Uh, yeah, it was I made a video, been in crypto since 2014. That was one of the craziest days that I can ever remember. I don't know about you, Alex.
yeah, sorry, I switched my headphones again. What did you say? I heard 2014.
I said I've been in crypto since
Okay.
2014. That was one of the craziest days yesterday that I can remember.
One of the craziest and second craziest of the last 3 months. So,
Yeah, 1010 was also a crazy day, but actually more liquidations happened yesterday.
oh,
More volume came in yesterday. So insanity.
yeah.
All right, I'll let you you got looks like you got to re-add your
Oh,
computer
great.
screen.
I don't know, that's so weird, but okay. Let's let's do it.
All right. Hold on one second. All right,
Static sound. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. Those of you on TikTok, I'm sorry. All right. So, all right. For those on a different platform, you can see my screen right now. So let me talk about short term. And Devin, I'm guessing that that we're going to be a little bit different perspectives. I don't know, but my mindset has changed a little bit. Okay, so short term. Talking about short term, we are actually just a hair below the 200-week EMA. And I saw this as a level when we got below the 200 EMA yesterday. I opened a 2x long on Bitcoin. It was at $66,000. It wasn't anywhere near, it wasn't close to the bottom. And I was down on it for a while, but it just a 2x, you know. I just figured we're most likely going to close the week below, or sorry, above the 200-week EMA. So that just from a risk to reward standpoint made sense to me. It reminded me a lot of that week that we went down to 80,000 or yeah, $80,000. That you see that long wick below the 100-week EMA. That was kind of my mindset that we would end up closing above the 200-week. And it looks like we're going to head that way. We still have a little bit more work to do. And Sunday closes, Sunday close. It's Sunday, so whatever. So that was for me kind of a short-term trigger of like, all right, you know what? I'm interested in some yeah, it was hard yesterday to try to catch that falling knife. And if you just stayed on the sidelines entirely, more power to you. That was really difficult. But there were some things that I did get in on for short term, just for some scalp trades here. Now, what is this? Devin, on a longer time frame, what is this? We may have some different perspectives. I'm guessing that I mean we were both calling for a spring, and so I'm the
Mhm.
one who's switching up here a little bit. I if we put in a V-shaped recovery, we get back to the mid 80s or something like within a couple weeks. Sure, you want to convince me that was a spring, fine. I have a really hard time believing at this point that we're not going to have some kind of interaction with the 200-week moving average. That has been the historic bear market bottom level. It's currently a little above $58,000, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not the bottom is not in my opinion. But as far as the bottom's not in for Bitcoin. Okay, if you want to tell me the bottom's in for altcoins, I'm actually really open to that as a possibility. And it's wild that we're talking about this in February.
Right.
Um, but for Bitcoin, I just am of that mindset that no, we are going to touch the 200 week, and so that's around the time. Like, all right, if you didn't get in yesterday, and you want to, we're probably we probably have some more bounce in us left short term. I do think that yes, we are going to hit this 200 week, and then we'll reevaluate from there. But that maybe that would be if we want to talk Wyckoff here. I'm thinking this was not reaccumulation or accumulation. This was actually redistribution, and now potentially we're in accumulation, and the move to the 200 week would be the spring in that. But for altcoins, You want to tell me the bottom's in for altcoins? I'm still trying to evaluate that. There's some interesting things with XRP. XRP bounced right off the 200-week moving average, and if you overlay some fractals, I know the blockchain backer is really big on. He showed this fractal from a previous cycle, and it was following along perfectly, and it was calling for something like what we saw yesterday to happen. And here we are. And XRP bottomed out at what? My goodness.
$1.11.
Oh my goodness, man. And now it's at $1.48.
Yeah.
So all right. If you missed that, what that fractal would show us would be XRP having a nice bounce and then bottoming out later on around $1.20. So if you think that's the bottom, which it might be, it might have been the bottom. All right, if that was the bottom, and I'm sure you're gonna elaborate or expound on this a little bit more. If that was the bottom for altcoins, just think about time-wise where we are right now. Because altcoins bottomed out in 2022. They bottomed out in June.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are, early February, first week of February. And it may be that that's the bottom for altcoins. Not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin bottomed out in November. So maybe on this timeline, Bitcoin would bottom out something like June or July, something like that, So I'm still evaluating. I'm still trying to collect my thoughts after the insanity of yesterday. But I'm open to a lot of things. To me, I made a video on TikTok only because I was in a rush this morning. That in my opinion, it makes sense to be about 25% in right now. So maybe I'm sure other people have different perspectives on that, but for me, 25%. And then I think what would happen after this, especially if we're just talking about altcoins, would be some chop, and then a moment where, all right, you know what, now the bottom's coming in, but we put in a higher low, and that would take a few months to play itself out, and then we'd see where we go from there. But
yeah, I'll just say for me yesterday, so Alex is my witness. I think, I don't know that I could have nailed silver any better than I did. People were like, "Oh my God, he's been calling for the top forever," and all this nonsense. But literally, I had two targets: $78 and $107. I sold at $78 and I sold at $107, and that $107 call was not good for 2 days. For 2 days, we were not good. And then it literally went from 121 to $62, which is, for perspective, Bitcoin basically just did that same move, but it took it from October until yesterday to make the same exact move that silver did in 6 days. So I had a little bit of cash on the sideline for that. Really, I did that because it was part of my plan with silver. And then also, transparently, like, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to owe in taxes. So I'm trying to have some money on the sideline ready for that before I made any crazy plays. But it was too juicy for me yesterday. I had some limit orders, and I put this out on Twitter, that I had limit orders. I actually sold 40% of my XRP at $3.33, around the average cost of 30 cents. In hindsight, I wish I would have sold more. I have had zero interest in buying in XRP until now. And when I posted this, it was like at $1.50. And then I said I have spot limit orders at $1.30, $1.11, and 88 cents. I went ahead and bumped this. Both of these got filled. This one obviously did not, but I think my average yesterday was $1.22 or something like that. So that I have reaccumulated some of my XRP that is already up. And then I also bought some Bitcoin yesterday. I'm open-minded, kind of like how you are. I am more, the one thing I'll say is, like, there are lots of stipulation to say, like, whether it's the bottom and we never wick lower, I'm not willing to stamp my name on that. However, there is something that's happening here, especially when you look at the volume. This is significantly higher than what happened in November, which was higher than anything that we had for over 13 months. In fact, this is the highest volume that we've had since the Japan rate cut fiasco. And it's almost identical to that level. And then also what we're seeing, especially out of XRP, but even Bitcoin too, we're seeing buy volume coming in right after it. So the buy volume right now is just slightly higher than the sell volume that we had back in November. So this is a very, very good sign when you see like massive liquidations, and it was a record-breaking day. $2.7 billion was liquidated yesterday in 24 hours. You see massive liquidations. You see this crazy, crazy amounts of volume coming in. And then immediately the next day, you're seeing a candle where XRP's literally bought back all of what it gave yesterday. And Bitcoin is probably about 60% back as of right now, with a decent bit of volume coming in. And then, like, we look at the RSI. Again, I want to state my position clearly. Last week when I was talking, so let's compartmentalize this a little bit, because there's two hats that I wear. Okay. So hat number one, and I was texting Alex about this, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But hat number one is like advice for regular Joe people, and also kind of like what I do for my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids, where it's like it doesn't really matter the price. I'm just gonna buy a little bit every single week, and I know if I hold long enough. Put that joker to the side, because that's a different hat versus like the hat that I wore where I sold silver at $107. I sold XRP at $3.33. I accumulated the average price of XRP at 30 cents. I accumulated the average price of silver of $20. I accumulated Bitcoin, the average price in the last bear market of $22,000. This person is speaking right now when I say, and I literally took what I had set aside for taxes. I bought the dip yesterday. I bought Bitcoin at about 63,000, and I bought XRP at about $1.20 ish. $1.22 I think is what the average price that I got. I think that we're going to have an immediate bounce. It doesn't mean that the forever wick low is in. We'll probably get a test like Alex is talking about with the 200 week that's there. I did not expect us to come down so violently, so
Yeah.
quickly. Like we were talking about that literally last week. We're like, we were over here and just like, yeah, we've lost the 100. I don't expect us to just slam to the 200. But that's exactly what we've done. And that's been a historical level for Bitcoin. In fact, it's only ever even been below it a couple of times. So that's a pretty big level. When you look at the RSI, yesterday at the wick finality, when Bitcoin was at like 59 or whatever, 59.9 or whatever it got to, this was sitting at 20. This was sitting at like 24, which is lower than what we got in FTX Luna, lower, the same level as the 2018 bear market, lower than the C19 crash on the weekly chart. So, listen, I'm not willing to stamp my name and say like that's the wick bottom. We're never going to go lower ever again. But to me, it's like, I personally feel comfortable accumulating Bitcoin at this price. I personally feel
Yeah.
comfortable, like I'm accumulating the big three for sure.
Yeah.
I think that, and I think that there's a strong argument to be made that like XRP, that might be it for XRP. That might be it for Ethereum. I think it's plausible / likely maybe that we get a test, like an immediate bounce, reclaim 80K. And then roll over and test the 60K again, especially because, getting a bit woo woo here. But the lunar eclipse is March 3rd. We have 20, that's the blood moon, which FTX went to zero on the blood moon. That's the last. This one's going to blow your mind, and the timing of this is going to blow your mind. It's the last lunar eclipse until 2029.
Okay. Oh, in 2029.
2029.
I know your thoughts on 2029.
Yeah. So listen, like that went way deeper than what I thought. That was way more violent than what I thought. For sure. But there is lots of indications that whether that be the all-time wick low that we see in 2026 and forever, I'm not willing to stamp that. But I think that like yesterday when I saw $60,000, I felt very good about buying Bitcoin. The swing trader, not the person who's investing every single week for his kids and his grandkids. Like those are two different. It's the same person, but two different hats that I wear when I give regular advice for regular people versus like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now because of the value is so juicy right now, and I even use what I have set aside for taxes to make some plays because it was just too juicy to pass up. And I haven't accumulated XRP for a second. People keep asking me about XRP, and I've said the entire time I have no interest in buying XRP until we're back into $1.30. I said that. Alex, how many times have I said that?
I mean, yeah, I don't remember the specific dollar amount, but I trust your calling that $1.30. For me, I guess I got a little greedy if that was the bottom. I was waiting for XRP under $1, and I set a limit order lower, like 10 cents lower than where it went yesterday. So I'm dying inside. And I want to address something right now. Some of these comments, these questions. Are we in a bear market? Are we in a bull market? Are we cooked? Guys, I am begging you, pretty please. Can you just get your brain out of that mindset for a second? And here's the deal. All this time, I sold on October 17th most of my crypto. All this time, I have not buyed. All this time, Devin has not buyed. Now, it logically makes sense to buy. All right, Devin is more in favor of DCAing. Okay, I understand that. But like now, if you buy Bitcoin now, it reminds me like my mother wanted me to buy crypto for her in 2022. I
It's
bought it.
18K.
Well, no, here's the deal. I bought it. I DCA'd between 21 and 24K, and then Bitcoin went down to 16K. All right. I knew logically in my head that my mother was not going to lose money because I knew that she was going to hold it onto it long enough to get a 3x or a 4x or a 5x. She ended up getting about a 3x. Okay. And that is what's in my brain right now is like logically, if you buy these cryptos now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, some other ones, but let's just stick with those three, Solana. If you buy these cryptos now, in 2 years, you are going to be up X's. You are going to be up. It just makes sense logically to be buying something right now. You might lose money short term. You might lose money medium term.
Right.
But Devin, you bought your XRP all throughout the last bear market during accumulation. You sold at 333, and now which is what you should have done. And now you're buying, which is what you should do, not financial advice.
I should have sold more. Like that
Yeah.
was the mistake I made. I sold 40%. I should have sold 80%. Right.
Yeah.
There's hindsights where I could have done things better. I could have, there's a lot of mistakes that I made, but I was still did very well either way. BR as a moron says copy jam again with the lunar eclipse. Like, bro, no one's more about the moon than me. Like how many like what if I copy jam about anything ever? First of all, like you're a moron if you're serious about that. If you're trolling, then that's hilarious. But if you're being serious about that, I've been talking about the moon the entire time I've done the channel.
I feel like I don't know. I mean, I don't watch Jam or anything. I haven't seen a single comment of his. I've never heard him talk about the moon, but I guess he does. I don't know.
I'm always talking about the moon. I get so much hate. People accuse me of being a witch and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's an insane comment to make because I've been talking about the moon the entire time that I've made content. Yeah. All right, the last couple of things I'll say is like Bitcoin is on the I switched the candles from the volume candle scale. Like I like trading with the volume candles and I like analyzing with the Heikin-Ashi candles. But we're on 11 on the daily RSI, and this got to 10 yesterday. This is lower than April. This is lower than the Japan. This is lower than the 9/11 crash. This is lower than not the 9/11 one, but the 2023 9/11. This is lower than FTX. This is lower than Luna. This is the lowest that we've been. This is lower than the C19 crash. This is the lowest that we have been since the 2018 bear market bottom. We have not been this low since the 2018 bear market bottom. Now, can we be oversold and still go lower? Yes, we can. However, like there are screaming signals all around us to say like this is a really good value at this point, in my opinion. Of course, that's not financial advice, and if like you need to pay your rent next month, maybe it's not the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for me, the risk to reward is like someone said. Someone said in my comments like, "Oh, Bitcoin's going down to 25K," and it's like, okay, I'll still be in profit, bro. Like I'm cool. Uh, because I don't have a goldfish brain. And yeah, I swing trade and I look for value and I DCA out a little bit and I DCA in a little bit. Um, but realistically, like there's a lot of support here. There's 290 days of support here. There's 220 days of support over here at this level between 70 and 60K. So can we get lower? Can we test the 100 or the 200 week moving average? We probably will. But I mean, Sunday it's going to be at like 59K. So, we'll see. Like, I just think that we are way further into this than we're not. And like, I think
Yeah.
at this point we're starting, especially with some of the big three and like stuff like that. I think we're starting to get greedy at this point when we're waiting for prices that may never come.
That's how I feel. I mean, like I mean, yesterday sucked. Like my stocks went down just as much as I don't have a ton of crypto at the moment, but um with crypto, I was like, please, I welcome these lower prices. I want Solana under $50, I want XRP under $1. And all right,
It turns out BR is an actual moron, so he said it again, so I went ahead and blocked him.
all right.
Ezekiel says, "What's up, brother?" That's my real life friend, IRL. He says, "Beard's looking good. I shaved it. Lannister pays his debts, and it's back." So, uh, so yeah, but yeah, listen, guys, I'm not gonna stamp it and say like the bottom is in. We're never going to wick lower. I think for Bitcoin, I'm kind of in agreement. Like I do think we'll test the same level. That's pretty common when you look at like, even FTX. Okay, so like technically FTX was not the bottom. So just for context here. So like same thing, like you had a massive, huge sell off here. This date here on the 22nd, we actually went slightly lower by like, a few dollars or whatever. You can
Yeah.
see that. So like, that's pretty common to test the bottom, whatever the case may be. But I just think that it's like, call it 18K, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like the risk to reward of waiting for lower at this point when there's screaming signs all around. I didn't even show the liquidity map, but like there's $30 billion upside and there's like 100 million down. So like I guess they added a little bit more over here at 60K. So that even more like, data to say like, hey, we'll probably test this again, but it's all mostly to the upside. It's insane how much like all the liquidity that was here, they grabbed all of it. And I've never seen an imbalance this strong one way or the other in the markets the whole time I've been doing this. Also CMC put in a record for fear and greed. I don't put too much
Oh,
weight.
really?
Yeah, 5 is what it got to.
Wow. Okay.
I don't put a lot of weight on fear and greed. It's
Yeah, me
9
neither.
on the um alternative.me, which is the second lowest it's ever been. The Luna was a 7. I don't put a lot on fear and greed between 15 and like 85, but I do think it starts telling you something once you get into the extremes. Like once you get into the extreme greed and extreme fear, I think it starts telling you a
Yeah.
piece of data.
Something interesting. So that 4chan guy who is I guess now famous for calling the top on October 6th. He gave a target for Bitcoin. Not that this means anything really, but he gave a target for Bitcoin in 2026 for $190,000. So the reason why I point that out is not because I'm magically going to start listening to this guy, but because so many people took the 4chan guy and was like, all right, you know what, that means we are bottoming on October 5th of 2026. And all right, that same guy who you all are worshiping him now, he's calling for Bitcoin to go to 190K in 2026.
Is that where the October 6th thing came from?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. That is hilarious to me that so many people were chanting that because of one guy.
Well, I mean, he was doing simple math. I mean, he was just looking at very, very basic 4-year halving cycle theory and looking at and calculate. All right, it's this is the date, October 6th.
Yeah. Listen, here's my date. I think that we're going to be like, I'm cautious, like maybe we get a test on the lunar eclipse, but I think there's going to be a noticeable pivot by the time we're out of that, especially how violent this has been. Like, what liquidity are they going to grab?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is like real deal volume, real deal. I just think that there's indicators. Again, nothing is everything, but everything is something. And I think that there's a lot of indicators screaming that something is here. Epstein made Bitcoin and it's going to zero. That's the narrative.
Yeah, that's the new thing, the
Yeah,
new FUD.
the new boogeyman. Like, he's dead. Like, great. Hopefully that's true. He can never sell for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So
Like, I don't care. That's such nonsense. Like, what a nonsensical. People just want a rhyme and a reason why things are happening.
I just want to respond. Mitch Men on TikTok. I'm not able to read all your comments. I think you're taking something personally that I said, but I have no idea what it is. But we can move on. So
I appreciate your realistic takes on crypto. Everyone else is nothing but doom for the most part. Listen, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again, but I try to refine my process. I think that there's things I could have done better in 2025. I think a big mistake that I made was, anytime anyone asked me about Arrow or Sui or Land Wolf or anything that was parabolic, like, I said that those had topped. I said that the XRP had topped, but a big mistake that I made was I thought that we were going to get more rotation into some of the legacy coins, and maybe we still do. Maybe this is, one of the shallowest bear markets of all time in time and in depth. I think that that's extremely plausible. I think that my original thesis of gold has topped and silver has topped looks pretty damn good, and the Russell is still kind of meandering at the same spot.
yeah, can
And
you show the I'm just curious about the fractal that you had.
so it has us at the buying climax, which again is kind of the start of when things really heat up. It's at 262, by the way. It's still, there's nothing really to report about
Yeah,
the fractal until we make a new low or until we make a new high. But the buying climax of this would be in April, which is like, that's the caution zone is done for me. So maybe, like, this whole thing about gold rotating into the Russell into crypto, maybe there's something to that, and maybe we just haven't got the full rotation. But I think it's undeniable that silver's topped.
oh yeah,
Like,
no doubt.
anyone, listen, I'm not trying to be funny here. I love buying silver. Silver is one of my favorite assets to buy, but like, we talked about this last week. If this were a meme coin, I would say, like, brother, please, for the love of God, take profit. But this is down 48% in 6 days. This is not normal.
Yeah.
And I hold silver to a different standard. This isn't even oversold yet either, by the way. This could go way deeper. And just like I said about XRP, I have no interest in buying XRP until we get back to $1.30. I have no interest in buying silver until we're back in the 50s. None.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I've laid out my game plan for that on my YouTube channel, a rare non-crypto video, and I'm waiting for the 200-week moving average, which is around 30 something dollars, which will rise. And
Right.
so, by the time the two meet, silver could be in the 50s, but that might be more than a year from now. That might be 2 years from now. So, like, I'm very excited about buying silver at that time, but
Right.
we're pretty far off from that.
Right. I'll probably start accumulating again around $50.
Yeah.
And I'm more on the fence of like, I want to miss the boat.
Yeah.
So I start to go a little bit early on a lot of assets sometimes, and I'll probably do the same with silver, and that's fine. But I think $30 is a reasonable target. I mean, we have 5
Oh,
years
I'm not
straight.
saying it's going to $30. I'm just saying that that's where the 200 week is right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, by the time it gets there, it's probably more like 36 or something like that.
yeah,
I'll start dabbling around the 50s.
sure.
I mean, it's still even it's oversold still or
You mean
overbought
overbought?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still overbought on the weekly. It's not even neutral yet. Like this could
Yeah.
keep going for a while. Um and I love buying silver. People tried to lump me in with all the crypto bros of like, oh, he's been calling the top for silver forever. And it's like, bro, silver was one of my biggest portfolio positions. Silver's my favorite asset to buy. It's complete nonsense. Like out of real estate, out of land, stocks, bonds, crypto, insurance, ammo, whatever. Like silver is one of my favorite things that I buy.
Yeah.
It's fun to physically go in and look at the ripples and what is the story with this thing. And I just like that. And that's more of like a hobby thing than, whatever.
So there's something that that I want to address, and it is not in relation to silver. It's in relation to just the time that we're in right now and my overall thesis for the market. I did make a video I think 2 days ago talking about, the title of that video on my YouTube channel is "The Stars Are Beginning to Align," and all the things that I was looking at with liquidity in 2025 and saying that we weren't going to have a full-blown alt season in 2025. That's kind of it's we're building up in that direction, and it'll still take some time, but we are trending in the right direction. And the manufacturing report came out. It was really hot, which I had speculated on my channel that when you compare, I'm sorry to I can't explain all of this, but when you compare Taiwan exports over the last years, and when you think Taiwan, you think semiconductors, and you think all of the infrastructure needed for the AI boom. That's exploded year over year, and so that my speculation was that that ISM, that manufacturing was going to catch up, which was a good sign that people are confidently spending again and confidently building again. And so here's all that word salad. Here's what I want to say. Um, I am very much convinced at the proper time that this time around there will be an alt season. Okay. So last time wasn't super convinced. This time around, and we're not talking about after the 2028 halving, this time around, between now and let's say the end of 2027, there will be an alt season. I have a lot of confidence in that. I have a lot of confidence that the stock market's going to go higher. I mean, you showed the Russell 2000 chart. We still have some room to go on that with that fractal. And then, maybe it is when we get into distribution. So, and what a perfect time. This is the most ideal time because of how much people have given up.
Yes, 100%. I was
Yeah.
just thinking this. Yeah. I agree with Alex. I actually think we're going to have a noticeable pivot in April. Noticeable. And someone said, so you both think we have a leg lower for alts before back up? No, neither one of us think that.
I'm open,
Open-minded. I don't think it though.
yeah. You can speak for yourself on that. Do I think so? I don't know. I still need to process yesterday. I need more time.
I'm more open-minded to us getting a test for Bitcoin, but I think that, there's history to show that, contrary to popular belief, actually the altcoins do bottom before Bitcoin does.
Yes. Yes.
And then we're seeing that too. Like that's something that's quietly happening too, is like Bitcoin dominance. I mean, it's up today, kind of, but I mean, this made a new low.
Yeah, I noticed that about Bitcoin dominance. That makes sense for Bitcoin dominance to it's been just grinding for the last few months. It makes sense for it to just start grinding down now.
Right. Yeah. what's next short term for Bitcoin. I mean, my predicted move has kind of happened. Like we're going to have an immediate bounce. What I would like to see to say like, hey, that was it, is reclaim 80 and hold it. I do like this volume that's coming in. So we had a crazy amount of volume on the excuse me, on the downside, right? Sell volume. We're about to get across on the upside on the daily chart. And we're having buy volume coming in immediately after. Now, this looks even stronger for like XRP. This candle has been pretty much bought all the way, like a twin tower candle has happened here, like more than it's
Yeah,
higher
that
than
hurts
it
my
was
feelings. Go ahead.
yesterday. Sorry, Alex. Um, I guess even a broken clock's right twice a day. But yeah, this is like it's already bought back everything. So that, and look at the volume, it's almost equal. So that's a really good sign. It doesn't mean that we're just going to go off to Neverland and can you wait? I can't wait until XRP is 589 and all this nonsense. But I'm just practically looking at the volume, looking at, how much sell volume we had and how much the buyers stepped in at certain levels. That's a really, really good sign. And we're kind of seeing that more aggressively with XRP and Ethereum, although Bitcoin's volume and the candle is pretty strong as well. It's about 70% of the losses that we had yesterday have been bought back up. That's a great sign. Where's my Ethereum chart? Where's my snare? Yeah, so Ethereum pretty much the same. A lot of this got bought back up. We had this wick all the way down to 1700, which was insane. If you
Yeah.
had some limit orders on that. But same thing, the volume we're about to get across on the daily as well. This being oversold at this level, like that's a real thing. We haven't been that oversold. Like I'm zooming out here since 2018 or since Luna. And I don't even think since Luna. I think it was really the 2018 bear market low is the last time we were this oversold on the daily chart. And this is the volume candle that I'm looking at. So, which I like. I like the volume candles for trading. I think that presenting the Heikenaishi candles look cleaner and better, but they're late and they're not good for trading.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I like them for just monitoring momentum and everything. But
So you're saying there's a chance? What were you gonna say? Sorry, I cut you off.
yeah, man, I'm curious. I people asked me on my live stream where I thought Ethereum would bottom, and I mean, yesterday I was not feeling very confident in my call here, but I said somewhere between $1,700 and $1,800. I mean, you don't have to switch to my chart, but if you were to see my chart, you would see why I would say that. Or you could switch to my chart. I mean, there it is,
There she blows.
Yeah, I mean, that just seemed like a clear level of support. Now, some other ones, I felt like it was a little bit more difficult to call the XRP bottom. I mean, you must have been looking at some stuff that I wasn't looking at. Solana, oh, interesting. Now that I'm looking at it, I mean, Solana bounced right off the 236 retrace from its previous cycle top to its all-time to its bear market bottom. Maybe
What's the
that's it.
market cap?
Yeah. I keep needing to look at market cap instead of. I haven't looked at this chart in a while. So market cap would have been, looks like somewhere between 0.5 and 382.
It's a good level.
Yeah.
ETH is too long term. What?
What?
I don't know. Like that just made my brain hurt.
Is there anything that's too long term? Is that even a thing?
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Listen, DraftKings is cool. You know what I mean? Like if you're not long term enough, then that's what we're doing. And I'm not against that, but like let's not call it something that it's not. Can you explain? Okay, so XRP, listen, where did I get those numbers from? I think you have to be a bit woo-woo with XRP. Because that's just what it is. So there's a little bit of structure to
Yeah.
say that there was a lot of support at the 88 cents range. So and then also back testing the prior range of $1.30 was where realistically that was a structural level for $1.30. When you start getting into the huge levels, let me switch to my chart here. So there was huge levels here. Like there's lots of support. You know, we got through the wick over here, and there's a little bit of support at $1.50, but there was a lot at $1.30, and so that was the structural level why I picked $1.30 of like, hey, this is where I want to start accumulating XRP, and then $1.11 is just kind of like it's a bit woo woo. It's just like XRP likes to go to these weird numbers. And so that's why I put that as a limit order. It really wasn't any deeper than that. And then it was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a great buy if it goes there. I think the BCB calls them stink orders, and that's kind of what it was.
Yep.
But really, $1.30 was like my actual target based off of structure. I just had $1.11 there just to catch in case we got it, and I just got lucky enough that we did. So
Congrats, man. I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for me too. Yeah, so I mean that's cool. Like XRP is like silver, so you know it could be a ride. We could be just hanging out here for a while, but it just started getting too juicy. Man, like what it's gonna be crazy if we look back, and I think me and you are in agreement. So like 2026 is not going to be what people think it is.
Yeah.
And what if, Alex, here's some hopium. We've been giving you guys some TA and some our thoughts and just being practical and you know all this and that. Here's some hopium. What if I was right all wrong, but I was wrong about the time? That gold is rotating to the Russell and the Russell is about to rip. And 2026, everyone's waiting for October bottom, and what if that's the top?
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I've been thinking this whole time. Like, man, everyone like the pain in 2025 was expecting this big explosive move and not getting it. The pain in 2026 is waiting for the perfect bottom and not getting that. And I think that's going to hurt a lot more.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, capitulation. And I tweeted it out as it was happening. I tweeted out that let me just go to this real quick. I said liquidation. So this is like in the midst of, I think Bitcoin was at like 62K or something. Liquidation is happening now. Max pain marks the bottom. We need to get through this moment. And that's how, you know, that's how I felt at the time. It's like, I could feel the pain. I could feel what was happening. It doesn't mean that we're never going to wick lower ever again, but that was a great opportunity. Obviously hindsight, but like, you know, I took action. Also blockchain backer, he nailed the top. He's bullish now. So
yeah,
that's an important piece of data. He hasn't been bullish this whole time.
I want to answer a question here. Didn't that happen so fast though? I feel the dump and chop for months is what kills retail. So yes. Well, no, first of all, XRP, that's always how it happens. It happens really fast. So the other something I've hypothesized is we've seen, I know it looks like Bitcoin is always the one driving the market, but we've seen other cryptos drive the market. I remember this one time, I think it was in 2021 or 2022, that there was this rumor dropped that Walmart was partnering with Litecoin, and Litecoin just spiked up really hard. And then the rumor came out that was a false rumor, and then Litecoin went right back down, and Litecoin brought everything up with it. And so here's the thing with what happened yesterday. I know a lot of people are going to scream manipulation. I know Binance sold a lot of Bitcoin, but I think a lot of what really drove the selling pressure yesterday was XRP and Solana, because XRP and Solana both at the same time lost these key levels of support, and there was air between those levels of support and then where they bottomed out at. And so that might have been the whole driving thing. So, what happens next is what I think is going to happen next. I mean, nobody knows. People love to throw out that trope. I've seen that in the comment section, is that there's if that was the bottom for altcoins, the next 2 to 3 months, people are going to be talking about, we're going so much lower. and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and then it's just never going to come. So, but that chop's going to be scary. That whatever that is, if it is a chop and it's not a V-shaped recovery, it is going to be scary, and there's going to be a lot of time, a lot of periods of self-doubt. So,
is Bitcoin going to touch 59K? Technically, it did yesterday. We got to 59,977 on some.
Was that on Heikinashi, or there was actually on some exchanges that got that low?
Yeah,
okay.
That was some order books. Yep.
All right.
Technically, we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was yeah. It's crazy. Like Bitcoin already reclaimed 69K in this live stream.
Yeah.
There's real volume coming in here, and I don't want to give anyone like false hope or anything like that, but like when you see a move, like I think a good thing to do is just look at the volume. The volume tells you, is it a real move or is it a fake move? Are we grueling up with no volume? Are we grueling down with no volume? Or do we have a capitulation and a crazy amount of volume? And the answer is we had the most amount of volume that we've had yesterday since, and this isn't the right chart, but the most amount of volume that we had yesterday since the Japan rate fiasco. Where did my index go? Is this it? Yes. So here you go. Like this is the most volume that we've had since the Japan rate fiasco. That was August of 2024, and you remember how crazy and scary that was.
Yep.
So listen, it doesn't mean we're gonna V bottom out of here and we're never gonna wick it lower, but it's just like, to me, it's like I feel like for sure, if you want to say like relate it to the 2022 bear market bottom, it's like, do I know that 15.5 is in right now? No, but I'm pretty sure 18K is in. You know what I mean? And I feel good about that. And I feel good buying. Like I bought with the money that I have set aside for taxes yesterday. I bought Bitcoin and I bought XRP.
Let me go back to the Japan rate cut fiasco thing. So look at the next month. You know, basically Bitcoin bottomed out at like 53,000 in September. But I'm sure you remember this, Ski. What was the magic number that everyone was calling for in September?
30K.
Okay, I remember 45. I remember everyone and their brother calling for 45 because I think that was the yearly open, and they were screaming that Bitcoin had to go back to the yearly open.
I remember 44 or 45 as well.
Yeah,
pretty heavily, but 30K I remember a lot as well.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear 30K much. I thought that was insane. I think whatever. I would have thought that was insane, but Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin went to 48.8 in August, and then it went to 52 or 53 in September, and it's like, you know, everyone was screaming for lower. Everyone was screaming for 45K. Now, again, I do think Bitcoin will go to the 200-week moving average, which is lower than where it went yesterday, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if altcoins did something like what we're seeing on that Bitcoin chart from August to September of 2024.
The web says, yeah, F taxes, just buy Bitcoin. Yeah. Listen, I made a calculated risk yesterday. For sure. Like I was like, man, I can get an extension until October.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I'm probably going to recoup some of that a little bit. But you know, I just thought, man, like this is too good to pass up, for sure. And I don't even know how much I'm going to owe either is the thing.
Yeah, I got to do that this month.
Taxes are always a stressful time.
It's an entire day event. And, you know, at first, I don't know for you, but like, it looks like I'm going to have to pay like an insane amount in taxes. And then I actually like plug in certain numbers and, oh, not as bad, but
yeah. Well, mine is kind of crazy too, because like I almost want to pay taxes because I'm trying to get a loan for the farm.
Yeah.
So I have to show that I make money. So it's like, kind of in a catch-22
Yep.
a little bit. So are we going to have to wait until 2029? No, I don't think so. I think 2029 will be like the top will be euphorically in before then.
Yeah.
Won't need tax money if you didn't make any money. Well, I don't have that problem just yet. Is Bitcoin going to reach 50 to 55K? Sure. Sure. Like, okay, this is what I want you to think about. I'm not predicting that. I'm not saying like, oh, that'll never happen. But this is what I want you to think about. Like, let's say you're from the future and you know that it's going to 55K, right? I think there's a reasonable chance that Bitcoin goes to 250,
Yeah.
220, 290, whatever. If that was it yesterday, then the 3618's at 290. So like, what is the difference between 63 and 55?
Here's a mental exercise. If it was a 50-50 chance that Bitcoin went to 50K, would you buy Bitcoin now? And let's say it was 99% chance that Bitcoin was going to hit a new all-time high next 2 years. Your answer to that question should be yes, that you would buy Bitcoin right now.
That's how I feel. And that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about it. Yes. Like, I understand that it can go lower. I totally get that. But I just think the risk to reward of like missing the boat entirely is just not worth it.
Yeah. It's so much more in your favor. I mean, even oh no, I mean for Bitcoin, yeah, that would be what, a 30% drop from here. It's still in your favor. Like the odds statistically are so much in your favor right now. That okay, you can withstand a 30% drop. Not most of you, a lot of you are down much more than 30% from when you've bought. You can survive a 30% drop, and then you can ride that out to something much higher than that.
Yeah. Like, I bought XRP yesterday at $1.30, knowing that, hey, maybe it goes to 88 cents. Because that was my last stink order, was at 88 cents. But I think Alex, you said you got a hard stop here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry guys, my wife is sick and I have a lot of stuff to do today, so I have to take care of the kids and do that stuff. So
Stuff and things and stuff. All right. Any final thoughts for the people?
other than we won't DM you, listen, I have been waiting for the day that I think is coming soon. I've been waiting for this day for years. I have been waiting to be a norm. Well, no, I guess I won't be normal. I have been waiting to be a moon boy. I have been waiting patiently. I have not been a moon boy since 2022. I really want to be a moon boy. And you know what? We're past the light. We're in where the light is on the horizon. It's always darkest before the dawn. Yesterday was the darkness potentially. The light is on the horizon. I see some light down there. So that's my final parting shot.
March 3rd, last lunar eclipse until 2029.
There we go. Bitcoin is gonna. All right, I think Bitcoin is gonna hit the 200 week moving average still. So how about on March? What was it? March 3rd.
March 3rd. Yep.
March 3rd. How about it?
I think by March 15th we are out of the woods. But I can.
Maybe.
We're still in the woods. I'll say it like this: we're in the woods.
Yeah.
But I can see the house.
There we go.
That's what I'll say. And I feel comfortable buying at these prices. I bought yesterday with a pretty big portion of what I had available. I bought some Bitcoin. I bought some XRP. And I feel comfortable with that. I feel fine. If I have to wait through until October and get an extension, whatever, I think that will be good by October.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll never message you. Don't buy anything you can't afford to be in the market for 3+ years, which, maybe I should take my own advice, but no. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We will never, ever, ever, never message you. Those are scammers. If you guys are interested in booking a call, some one-on-one coaching, I think Alex does that and I do that as well.
I am willing to do. I've done it with one person so far, and I really don't talk about it. But yes, If you want a one-on-one call, let's do it.